Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Here we go again with a new video. I'm trying all the angles in the world, my phones, the GoPro. I'm just trying it all for you guys till we get it right, okay? So if you get frustrated watching all these random ass videos, I'm sorry. This is just what had to happen in order for us to get somewhere. So I kept moving my damn phone with my elbow, so I was like, is this gonna work or it's not gonna work? I was like, oh well, it's already set up, we're on an appointment time, so yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just like, goodness gracious, but we're gonna try and attempt every angle in the world till I get a comfortable and perfect view one. So you can see, for the most part, everything I'm doing. I was using a little stand one, the one that like you can put on a table and it'll record down on the table or it's straight at you. So it didn't have like a flexible thing or whatever. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm tripping. It's Tuesday, you guys, after Labor Day. This video was supposed to be up on Labor Day, but when I reviewed the voiceover, I could not hear it. I must have had my hand covering the microphone or something. It sounded really muffled, like if I was talking underwater. So I had to delete the whole voiceover and start all over again. Here I go with my ums again, because I never know what to say in my videos sometimes. But today we will be doing something new, something that I'm doing for the first time ever. Well, not really first time ever. This is the second retry. The first time I just gave up after the first nail form, but on this one I'm not. I'm gonna try my best to explain what I did as I am learning it. Look at my little nails. Don't worry, guys, my nails got long back again. I did them baby blue. I already feel like changing them again, just to try a new color. They're super cute. I actually love them, and it's crazy, I already see new growth, and it's only been like a week and a few days. But yeah, I hate cutting cuticles. I hate it, I really do. It's scary. I'm gonna look and research for a like Russian manicure tutorial, whatever, or workshop or something online. Invest in your education. But my prep has gotten really, it's super simple, easy. I've noticed that pushing back the cuticles and opening that area with the cuticle pusher will make your diamond bits work efficiently and effortlessly. So she hasn't came in like a few months. So these are her back to school nails. She did request duckies, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. So I first start off with these golden diamond bits just softly around the cuticle. I believe I'm using 1 RPM. I don't know if you guys can see. And then I reverse to do the other side. Super easy. Sometimes I do put a little bit of pressure when the cuticle is being stubborn and thick. I switch over to a 120 grit sanding band, again at 1 RPMs. I love this drill because it does not catch or stop at 1 RPMs. I don't know if you guys noticed, some drills, as soon as you put too much pressure, boom, it stops because you're putting too much pressure. This one, I have not went back to my other drills. Like, it's crazy. They're just gonna sit there and gather dust. That sucks. I don't know, I just always am making sure this drill is charged. I just really love it. It feels, I don't know how to explain the way it feels. It's just smooth. The torque is smooth. Then I go with this little pointed, it's not always the pointed one, it's always whatever is clean and available for me to use, because I have several. But I do use this little pointy tiny one to get the sidewalls, because I know that when I started doing nails, I would get lifting on the sidewalls a lot, and then come to realization that there is also cuticle that gets stuck there. And that's all I did. That was my prep. I clean before I cut the cuticles. I am scrubbing upward to try and lift any cuticle. The reason why I started scrubbing first on some people, okay, is because the acetone dries out the skin. So it kind of lets me know what needs to be cut and what doesn't need to be cut, because it makes the dead, dry cuticle a little bit hard and like in a light color, if you know what I'm saying. So this just been a lot easier for me, and I notice I cut less cuticle, and I like, it's not a lot, it's just whatever is actually dry and dead, and yeah, and excess, if that makes sense. So you guys, before I start off the nail form application, this client I want to call her lazy hands, or what is the word, you know, like, I understand her hands are just super relaxed. You know, she's a teenager. It comes with time when they learn how to be aware of their surroundings and whatever. But I feel like the reason why I had a complication applying the nail forms was because her hands were just not heavy, but I think you'll see in a minute, like, she was just like, as soon as I would let go of the finger, the hands would just drop. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's why I was struggling a little bit applying the nail forms. So what I decided to do was cut off the flaps in the tip area, because the first time I tried to do this, the flaps kept sticking together, and then it will be a regular form. So this time around, I left it. Oh my god, why do I feel like there's something stuck in my throat? But oh my god, and look at me covering the damn and whatever frame. Oh my gosh, you see how I threw that nail form over there? Because I was frustrated, and in my head I was just like, why am I having such a hard time applying these nail forms? So when I do the thumbs, and the reason why I decided to redo that nail form was because her thumb is wide. These nail forms fit perfectly, the three fingers in the middle, so I have to customize it. And I do this like diamond cut, and then it fits perfectly on the thumb. Like, you see that sidewalls are open and available for me to cover completely. I believe I end up doing this nail form again. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right. So we cut the flaps for the thumb, cut that diamond shape in the middle. I just know that I was having a hard time because her hand was really like, just wanted to stay the way it's looking in the video. She was not budging or trying to help out move her wrist and her thumb upward. So I kind of was picking up her thumb, and it felt a little heavy. So I was like, okay, girl, just pick up that damn thumb. And I was like, and you see how her finger just drops back to the table? Like, girl, what? I don't know if you've seen that brand that I'm using, but it's spelled weird. So I'm using their primer. Dehydrators, to be honest, is unnecessary. But sometimes I still use it randomly just to use it, just because I have it. No actual reason. But look. I was trying to make sure the line is in the middle. Pinch, and you see how it stays flared out like a cone? That's what we want. That's what we want when doing nail form duckies. That's what we want. That nail form applied perfectly. But yeah, that's all I'm doing is cutting the flaps off, rolling it a little, giving it a little curve right there. You see that? Not so much of a pinch. It's not a pinch. It's a little curvy curve. Make sure the lines are straight. Close the back, and you see how the nail form stays like an open cone. That's what we want. That's what we want. And I always use the little squares to guide me. So since this is something new that I'm doing, for a coffin, I use 2 little squares. For a tapered square or a wider coffin, I use 2 little squares on each side of that middle line. So when I did these, I did 3 little squares outside from each. I could have done like maybe 4 squares on each side, and it would have made a wider coffin. But I was like, no, let me do a little baby. Not, oh my God, did I say a wider coffin? A wider duck nail. So you'll see. But this was my first. Oh my God, then this pinky also gave me a little bit of a hard time, I believe, because I pinched too much where I dented the nail form. So this is all trial and error, you guys, so just bear with me. I ended up adding a second coat of primer. I don't know why Roy is over here whimpering, but I am using any color you see in these big jars. Just know that I made them and mixed them myself. I did. I'm being serious. I did. Oh, now he's growling, you guys. Roy's creeping me out. Roy, what are you doing? He's over here growling at something. I hate when he does that and I'm home alone. Oh my God. But you see, like, I could have went one more little square out to make it look wider, but my fear was to leave them too thin on my first try. So I did pile on a lot more acrylic than what I show here. I am using my Medicool number 12 Kolinsky brush. I've been having this brush for years, you guys. I remember I purchased this brush at Cosmoprof, and I've had this brush maybe 10 plus years now. I'm surprised that the bristles are still doing good. I mean, I do take care of my acrylic brushes because they're expensive. Acrylic brushes are expensive. This color was made with Lunar Dust pigment. It was mainly clear powder, and I was using the magenta. Not the magenta. I believe it was the red mica pigment powder. You have to go really light. Apply a dash of it, mix it, test it, and gradually add it, because you don't want the shimmer to show up. So these look perfectly clear and you barely see any of the shimmer. So most of the jars that currently at this moment, I am not using any brand powder. They're all mixed by me. The only brand powders that I do have are the D&D, and I think I have like 3 or 4 colors, maybe 6, I'm not sure, and that's about it. Everything else on my walls was personalized and mixed up by me, so I can't really tell you what color I am using. I named this one Cali Pink just because it reminds me of the clear pink that used to be used in nail salons for Frenchies. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like this clear deep pink, and then they would do the French on top, or with acrylic, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah. Oh, but for clear powder, I am currently using Legacy Legacy nails, I believe, clear powder. I purchased it on Amazon. It was quite expensive. A pound of it was almost $60, and I already finished it. I really like it. The consistency. Move your client the way you need them to, because this girl's wrists were just leaning to the side, causing me some wrist pain. Monomer I'm using, you guys know, I've switched to Macart Pro. I had to buy 4 bottles. I wish they had the scented ones in larger bottles, and I wish they had gallons. Oh my god, I had to kind of fix this nail form because the sidewalls weren't really exposed. Like, the nail form kept going on top of the sidewall instead of below it. So you might see me mess around with the nail form again, or hold it a separate way, because it kept going above the smile line for some reason. And I was like, I don't feel or have the patience to fix the nail form, just because I had to work fast. Her hands were really just exhausting my wrist, let's be honest. I don't know if you ever have like this client you love, but then it's just like, you see, as soon as I let her hands go, they just boom, drop. I was like, so that's what her hands want to do. So I was just like, yeah, let me hurry up with this application, because my hands are getting exhausted. I'm so mad. My boyfriend took my coffee and left his coffee. And I had prepped my coffee so good. Why did he take my coffee? Why? But try it out, you guys, because sometimes, I don't know, that all that extra shaping and pinching and bending of the nail tips just to get a wide flared out look. I mean, I obviously can go and buy some duck nail tips, but for what? She's the only client that gets these done. It's like, if I go and buy duck nail tips, they're just gonna sit there forever. So I was just like, might as well try with nail forms, and it worked out so perfectly. Watch when I start shaping them. I feel like I could have went wider though. I could have went an extra square at the tips, because obviously when you start shaping and filing, you kind of like reduce the flareness. I had to be careful not to pinch this too much, but I'm telling you, the side walls again were not being exposed. So as you can see why I pinched the nail form right there. I was trying to see if I can set the acrylic, let the acrylic dry a little bit so the nail form stays how it's supposed to be sitting down. I was just like, why are they doing this? But anyways, you guys know, this is the first time I'm doing this. Like in real time, like not real time, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I like to do and teach myself new techniques and do new things before. I like to do them myself first before I try and pay to get taught to do something. But I also was thinking about even getting the, what are they called? Oh my god, I have it in my head. What are they called? You know those nail tips that, dual forms. There we go. I think they're called dual forms, where you place the product on the nail, let it dry, and then you try and not let it dry. You stick it to the natural nail, and then it's already shaped and buffed, and all you gotta do is just nothing, basically. It's already encapsulated for you and all of that good stuff. But look at that. Look at that. You see how it stays coned out and open? That's because I took those flaps off. If I would have left the flaps on, this nail form would have closed on me the way I'm handling it, and I would have been upset. But you see, I think all of the nails, I did 3 little squares to the side. Did I do this one like that? I can't tell. But my only advice I can give you when doing nail forms, a size 12 brush will be your best friend. A size 12 brush will always be consistent with the liquid to powder ratio. You just gotta tap it. I tap my brush once against the dish, just a tap, and I count to 3 or up to 6 seconds. Like, you also have to teach yourself, or not teach yourself, but learn what your brush can pick up and at what consistency. So let's say you tap your brush once and you tap the brush 3 times in the liquid, you sure already know how big the bead is and how it's gonna work for you. That's maybe the only way I could put it. I'm telling you, my bead number right now has been 1 tap, 6 seconds. If I do 3 seconds in the powder, that means it's gonna be a runny, more wetter bead. If I do 6, it's gonna be a drier, whatever, what bead. Oh my god, you guys, I feel like I just been saying random stuff in this video. I'm gonna have to make me another coffee because my boyfriend took my coffee. I'm debating whether to go to the gym. I did not get booked today. I only have one appointment till 5. So I have these shirt orders I have to make today and try and ship out by this weekend. Oh my god. To be like, how do people deal with this? I don't have kids and my days have just been crazy. Like crazy. Imagine. Like, this was the first weekend ever that I didn't do anything with my life. Like Saturday, I woke up, went to the gym, had breakfast, got home and slept the rest of the day. Then around 5, I got up to go take my dad out to dinner because it was his birthday. So we took him out to dinner to this Brazilian steakhouse, which I got diarrhea. I was like, ain't no way my stomach is not taking this food well. Whatever. We got home. I went to bed. The next day, we went to breakfast, got home, and I slept again the rest of the day, you guys. I don't know if that's just how tired I am, but I slept the whole day, woke up, made me some tuna, and then went back to sleep and woke up the next day. The next day is Labor Day, Monday, so it was like supposedly a holiday. I did have 3 appointments. I had 2 nails and a haircut. So I didn't have those appointments till 1 p.m. So the whole morning I just cleaned my whole apartment because I didn't do nothing on the weekend. I cleaned the whole apartment, and then by 12:30 I left to work. I did those appointments, came back home, cooked dinner, and by the time I got to sit down on my couch, and then we had just turned on TV when I asked my boyfriend, what time is it? And he's like, almost 9 p.m. I was like, what the hell? Where is the time gone? I was just like, this is... Oh my god. I don't know why I yawned. But even... I don't know. I feel like lately life has just been like going and going and going and going and going. You see how I have to fix her hands all the time because she just... You know what I'm talking about. Oh. Alright, you guys, enjoy the video. Oh, wait, I was going to say something. So you guys know I had bought the Macart Pro gel polishes. So I used them in this video. I used it. A pink one. A pastel pink one. Oh my god, that pastel pink is so cute. And by the time... I had 2 more days to get the lamp delivered, the Macart Pro lamp delivered, when I figured out the gel polish. I literally have it all figured out now. I just been doing scraping off almost all the gel off the brush. Literally, if you think that you didn't scrape enough, keep scraping. I'm telling you, now that I got the hang of it, everything cures perfectly. It's better for you to do 2 coats. With even the first thin coat is already super pigmented, but if you don't smooth it out. Okay, you guys, when I mean by smoothing the nail out, I do not mean like buffing it till it's shiny. You still feel a porous surface. So the only way I can explain it is like, I don't know if you guys ever, well, I don't know, everybody buffs and shapes differently, because I see some girls that you can still see dents and cracks and lines when they apply their gel polishes. But yeah, whatever. So I go in with a 120 grit sanding band at about 6 to 7 RPMs, and I smooth the whole surface. There should not be no dents, no hollow spaces. You should not see any lines of your carbide bit or your whatever. It should be a smooth surface. I'm not talking about, because some people are like, oh, you know, like gel needs, you know, I remember in beauty school that they would be like, that gel does not stick to a smooth surface. No, what I'm trying to say is not a smooth surface, but a porous feeling surface. Oh my god, my whole arm was in the way, sorry. But I probably you're gonna see it in this video where I did pass I think I had on this nail set, when I smooth it out, I used a 180 grit sanding band to smooth out the nail. I literally, even when you touch the nail, you could feel that it's porous. It's not like glossy smooth, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't, that's as best as I can describe. So that's how I'm able to get clean lines with the French nail. What I also have done with another client is that I put a top coat on first and then I did the French. That worked well too. So I've been trying a lot of techniques and a lot of things with these gel polishes, but for the most part, I am obsessed. I'm telling you, I am obsessed now that I figured them out. I did my nails baby blue, and trust me, they cured perfectly. I'm so excited. And the crazy part is that I was still using my old lamp when I did these nails. I believe I recorded them, and it's just like, once I did it on myself, I was like, okay girl, you starting to get it, you starting to. So now I feel like I spend an unnecessary amount of money on buying the Macar Pro lamp. But oh well, I got it, it's here, and the money was spent. Oh well, whatever, we're just gonna make it work. So the other lamp that I have, I'm actually gonna bring it home and bring one of my extra nail drills home, because sometimes I want to do my toes, and I hate doing my toes at the shop. I'd rather sit on the floor of my living room while I watch something on TV. And look at me, out of frame. Anyways, you already seen the whole other hand, so whatever. This should not be too much. I bet you it's only the thumb that I do this to. So as I'm doing this voiceover, I'm reviewing the video I just recorded for you guys, okay? All right, you guys. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting hungry. I want to make me a coffee. I'm debating whether to go to the gym or not. Do I want to go to the gym? I mean, I have no appointments till 5 p.m. you guys. I could even go like in the afternoon. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. My house is clean. I just have to wash dishes. And you know, the little, I don't know about you guys, but my sofa, I put 2 little blankets on it. So I just need to fold one of the blankets because I was using to cover myself. Then I got a heat press, some t-shirts that I got from my online store, and get them ready to ship out. I need to do that by this weekend. The thing is that, like, I can do it today, you guys, right? But since I didn't work late, like a good amount of time. Okay, I have to make rent every Thursday, right? And I also have to I have this loan that I have to pay every Thursday. So since yesterday I only made half a day of income, and today I only have one appointment, I do not have enough money to pay for the shipping today or tomorrow. I have to make sure that my loan payment and my rent gets paid first before I do any other bills. Because, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. But so I'm gonna wait till this weekend to see how much it was left. Hopefully I'm able to ship out all the orders. Obviously some of these orders were already paid for, except some of the shipping wasn't paid for because it was like over the phone type of order. You know what I'm talking about? So they're either gonna pick up or send me the money later to ship out if they can't pick it up. It's just a lot. It's a lot of work. And I need to get to I'm just happy I just have to wash some dishes, put stuff away, fix up my couch. I gotta mop again because I don't know what Roy spilled. I could just see his little paws everywhere, or I don't know if it was wet outside. And I'm gonna go make my bed. And F it, I'm going to the gym, you guys. I have to. There's nothing for me to do. Like, legit, nothing for me to do. Okay, enjoy the video, you guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, this video helps someone. So we both, learned something new. Did we learn something new today, you guys? I know I did. I know that now I can do duckies with nail forms. Next time I do this, though, I will make it wider. Maybe I was just too scared to make it too wide. I don't know. But you'll see the finished look at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being patient with all my little camera angles. But we're getting somewhere. Okay? I'm kind of disappointed with the GoPro. Maybe I'll just use a GoPro for vlogging or something. I don't know. All right, you guys, bye, and enjoy the rest of the video. I can't believe I've been talking for like 33 minutes. Yeah. Okay, bye.